Hello everyone, my name is Annie and I'm going to teach you how to juggle with 3 balls today. Oh boy, that's really well. We're going to start with a small warm-up just with 1 ball to get used to the weight of our balls. If you don't have juggling balls at home, what you can do is you're going to take your socks like this, and preferably you're going to take socks that are clean and not like me, but I have these on my feet right now so it's easier. You're going to roll them into a little ball, tuck them in like this, and like this you're going to have some sort of a juggling ball. Things that also work are racket balls, tennis balls, hacky sacks, potatoes, maybe lemons, you know, once they got like very hard and dry, that works as well. You gotta find something. There's great tutorials on YouTube as well on how to make your own juggling balls just with balloons and rice. So go check that out. All right, so a little warm up with 1 ball. You wanna just throw a column, that's what we call a straight throw, that comes back into our hand like this. So little throw is better than too high, just about head high, that's all. You're gonna try both sides. And now try and not to focus up and down, but to kind of keep the focus up. We don't have to move our head around too much, I just cover this upper area of where I'm throwing. And then I try a little forth and back here. Keep the hands low, keep the elbows next to your body, nice and straight posture. Forth and back. Cool, looks great. So let's jump into the tricks. I want to start with a technique that is called clay motion, which is all based on stop and go motions. And there's a lot of fun variations on it. All right, so in order to get started, let's take just 2 balls and let's look at this position of the balls in our hands first. So for the clay motion style, you want the balls to be next to each other in your hand as this and nicely horizontally aligned. So we're gonna call this the thumb pocket. So you want the first ball to be between your index finger and your thumb, and then the other 3 fingers are gonna hold the other ball like this. They're kind of squeezed next to each other. Gets a little moment to get used to it. Just play around a little bit until you feel comfortable, and then we're gonna try and throw these 2 balls at the same time. Now when you throw 2 balls at the same time out of 1 hand, we actually call this a multiplex, and it looks like this. And you see how both balls separate in the air, and I want to catch the one that's closer to my left hand, or if you start with your left, the one that's closer to your right hand in that other hand. So this one goes over to my left, and the right one is gonna stay on the same side. I catch it back with the same hand with which I'm throwing it as well. As such. In order to get them nice and parallel in the air, you wanna make sure that your throwing hand stays with the palm facing upwards, so it's more like a push into the air, like this. And then we can already practice as we go forth and back. We can already practice of shifting the ball from that throwing hand back into our thumb pocket position, because usually we catch it just in the palm, right? So you're gonna shift it over between the thumb and index finger, and then I have my little pinky pocket free in order to catch back the other ball, and I can restart. I'll shift it over, fill your hand again in the pinky pocket, and do the multiplex. Now the shifting is only from here, this position. I bring my thumb over and I shift the ball over to my thumb pocket like this. That's all that's happening. It takes a little, you need a little trying around. You're gonna get it, I'm pretty sure. shift over, open up the pinky pocket, and throw the other ball back in. Shift up. And obviously we want to be able to do it on both sides. So you already want to go ahead and try the shift over in your other hand. And also the multiplex. Up. And shift it over, charge that hand again, and throw. Like this, we can do it from one side to the other. All right, let's get the third ball in the game here. So we're going to do exactly the same thing, only that now I already hold the ball in my other catching hand, and you want to make sure that that ball is already in your thumb pocket. So when we start like from here, you want to shift the ball over into your thumb pocket. And now this hand is going to do the multiplex exactly as we've been practicing, and you're going to catch them back as well separately like this. So only difference is that there's already a ball in the other hand. And now we can do the whole thing forth and back. Now I do it exactly to the other direction. I shift this ball over, the lonely ball in the lonely ball in the other hand, shift it over into your thumb pocket, and then throw the multiplex out of the other hand. So it's always a shift, multiplex. Shift it over into the thumb pocket, multiplex with the other hand. Shift over, multiplex. Shift over, multiplex. And you can do this as slow as you need to. You have all the time in the world. Take your time to think about every step of the way, what is happening, and really pay attention to the form. So try to make your multiplex as parallel up in the air as possible. These throws still need to be high. You see my throws, they hardly go up to eye level. So the lower you make them, the easier it's going to be for you as well. So keep it easy. This is really what clay motion is all about. It's this small little throws. And as you're getting used to it, you can start doing the change over into the thumb pocket as you're throwing the next multiplex. So from here, as I throw the multiplex, I'm going to shift this ball over and free my pinky pocket. You see it's all happening at the same time. And like this, you can speed up the whole pattern. And it gets like a forth and back. Great. Are you ready for some variations on this? I want to try a little variation that includes a claw catch. Now, a claw catch is when I catch the ball not from below like this, but I want to catch it from the top. So you throw your ball up in the air and then you catch it back from the top. Imagine like a cat, like how a cat would claw an object out of the air, like this. And try this, warm it up on both sides and get used to this new technique first. You can take two balls, do it right and left. Yeah, let's do like 20 of these more just to get used to it. Cool, and here's how you integrate it into your clay motion technique. So we're gonna do the same throw, the same multiplex. From you can start with your dominant hand. For me, it's my right hand, so I start in my right. And now the ball that is coming back into my right hand, this one over here, this is the one that I want to catch back in a claw. So what you have to do is, after you've thrown the multiplex up in the air, let's simulate it. So I'm throwing it, balls are in the air, and then I quickly have to bring my catching hand on top so that I can claw back this one ball in the same hand that I've been throwing it from. It looks like this. One more time. And we want to practice both directions, obviously. So the throw stays exactly the same. Remember to bring your palm up to the sky so that both balls, they fly more or less at the same height. And then you want to claw the one that you would usually catch back in the same hand. That one you want to claw it with the same hand instead of just catching it in a regular grip. Now we can just practice on both sides like this. So you always remember to shift over into your thumb pocket. Fill your hands so both balls are parallel to each other like this. Bring your palm up to the sky and then quickly bring your hand around and claw the outer ball. And that's all what this variation is. Now we can integrate back the third ball. And it's this exact same pattern that we've been practicing before. It's this one. With the difference that I'm gonna claw the outer ball like this. So it's gonna be claw. And then you have to shift this ball back into your thumb pocket, free this other pinky pocket, multiplex and claw. Shift over, multiplex, claw. Shift over, multiplex, claw. And same thing if you do these throws like on a low level, it's not even high level, it's even a little bit below. This is all gonna be much easier to do. So think about it more like a little hop. You're gonna make the balls hop from one hand to the other. And then the same thing, you can speed it up by already doing the shift over into the thumb pocket as you do the multiplex. So then it becomes this cool forth and back. You see how this whole turning of the hand and shifting over into the thumb pocket, that all happens at the same time as the multiplex. So from here, shift and turn as the multiplex goes. Let's shift and turn at the same time. So I really like the feel of this trick because of what my hands do. They always turn around like this. And I think it looks cool. So this is where we're going eventually. No worries if you don't get it quite yet. Takes a moment. With juggling, it's always the same. It's first about understanding what's actually happening, and then it takes a moment to get it into your muscle memory. So one really good strategy for practicing and learning is practice for 5 minutes, go do something else, come back to it, or also, as we say, sleep a night over it and try again tomorrow. Just little practice times every day, and you're gonna see a huge increase in your juggling. Yeah, I'm gonna show you one more variation, so just that you have an idea of what to practice next. So you have some fun stuff to play around with after this class. So the other variation would be the swoop, and we're gonna stay with exactly the same multiplex. And again, we're gonna focus on the ball that comes down into our catching hand. And now this one, I want to catch it a little bit higher up, and I just want to swoop it around. So I'm gonna make a little decoration circle here around, and I'm gonna bring it back. Swoop, bring it back. That's all. Try the other hand. Shift, bring them into your 2 pockets. So it's the one that comes back into the same hand. You catch it a tad higher than before, so my hand is a little bit higher. And then I'm gonna swoop it around. Up and swoop. And we can do this very slow. Just catch and swoop. Catch a bit higher, swoop it around. And once you get the hang of it, you can, as you catch, already go into the swoop. So it becomes one motion. And swoop. And swoop. Yeah, take your time, get a little bit comfortable to it. Remember, palms always facing upwards. Try and keep your throws as parallel as possible. And small throws are always easier than big throws. Cool, and then we can bring back the third ball into the game. So exactly the same thing. This ball is just in the other hand as we catch the other one. So already have it ready into your thumb pocket. That's important, so you can catch the other one back in your pinky pocket, ready to go for the next multiplex. So same throw, multiplex, and then we're gonna add the swoop to it. Swoop, shift over, open up your pinky pocket, multiplex and swoop. We'll shift, multiplex and swoop. And now as we swoop, we can use the timing of the swoop to already shift into our pinky pocket, all right? So you swoop, and up here, you're gonna shift it over. Swoop and shift, swoop and shift, swoop and shift, swoop and shift. Cool. Sweet. If you got that far, that's already super good. I'm gonna show you just one little step for this trick to make it and to get it to the original speed. So what's happening is that I want to already throw the next multiplex as my swoop, when my swoop is on the highest point. So let's go from the first swoop. So I'm throwing and I'm swooping. Remember that I already have to put this ball into my thumb pocket as I swoop. And then for this last bit, this is the moment where I already throw the next multiplex. So as my arm comes down, I'm throwing the multiplex. So you just want to practice this. Do the first swoop. And then when you arrive up here, remember to already throw that next multiplex. You want to be practicing this in both directions, of course. So let's do it with the two balls in the other hand. Swoop, and when it's at the highest point, multiplex. Okay, and swoop and multiplex. Swoop, when you're at the highest point, already throw the next multiplex. One more time, and throw. And now, in order to have a connection of both sides, you want to be swooping. At the highest point, there comes the multiplex, and then from that multiplex, you already catch up the next swoop. So the step is swoop, multiplex, and swoop. One more time. Swoop, multiplex at the same time, and swooping out the next one. Starting from here, and swooping out the next one. And then it's the same thing in the other direction. So swoop, multiplex at the same time. And then as you have the multiplex in the air, remember to already swoop the next one into the other direction. And then we can slowly start putting this together. And this is how it's gonna look like in the very end. Good job. Once again, don't worry if you don't get it at the first try. Try it later again today, or try it tomorrow again. You're gonna get it. It's all about putting this information into our muscle memory and getting used to it. Awesome. So let's start with our 3-ball juggling pre-exercises. There's a few things that you need to know with 2 balls, some exercises that you have to be able to do before you're able to throw the 3-ball cascade, as we call this. This is the basic juggling pattern that we're aiming for today. So let's take 2 balls, and we want to start with what we call columns. A column is just a straight throw up in the air, and they're going to catch it back in the same hand as such. Now what is important is that both of your balls are gonna fly to the same point in the air. So you can imagine you're standing in a box that's about yay high. It's just a little bit above my head. And you want to imagine these 2 corners. You really want to visualize these 2 corners of your box in the air, because this is where you want your balls to go. So imagine hitting these 2 corners every time that you throw the ball. This is also where my regard is at the moment. I don't have to closely look at every ball, so you don't have to move your head too much. I'm just scanning the air with my eyes a little bit, covering this upper region. don't need to look at my hands. When I see the ball up in the air, I can already estimate where it's gonna land. So no need to look at your hands. If you feel uncomfortable with this, you can make your pattern a little bit smaller. So like this, if it's just in front of my head, then I already see, I also have my hands in my vision. Okay? So just about yay high. Awesome. So this should be fairly easy. Let's make it a little bit harder. So we want to change up the rhythm. It's the same thing, only a different rhythm. And you want to be throwing both balls a little bit faster after each other. So they're both in the air before the first one comes down. So it's going to be a throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw, throw, catch, catch. So see how my hands are empty for just a split second underneath here. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw, throw, catch, catch. And really visualize your two corners here. Now it gets a little bit harder to get them into the upper corners of our box. But it's very important that they fly both at the same height. Common mistakes that often happen is that I start throwing them too fast after each other. So you really want to throw one after the other with a little delay. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw, throw, catch, catch. And then once you master this on one side, gonna try the other side. So what I've been doing, I've been starting always with my dominant hand here. That's probably what you've been doing as well. I always been doing right, left, catch, catch. And again, right, left, catch, catch. So now I want to also practice the left side, starting with left, left, right, catch, catch. Left, right, catch, catch. And eventually you want to be able to alternate going from right, left to left, right, and back to right, left, left, right, and so on. Take your time. This takes a little moment to get used to this rhythm. Once you got it, you want to throw the same thing but with the balls crossed. Our next step is to cross the balls in the air in the same rhythm. So imagine that the ball from your right hand goes to this upper left corner of the box that you're standing in. And once this ball hits this upper corner, we're going to throw the other ball underneath into the other corner. So really see that this throw, it needs to get to its highest point, peak point, and that's where I release the other ball to the other side. It turns out to be the same rhythm. It's a throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw, throw, catch, catch. And notice how my hands, they go through my body center. It's this kind of shoveling motion. So I really want to throw one ball underneath the other one. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Okay, something that's very common when you do it for the first time is that the second ball, it goes either very far front or very far to the side. No worries. What really helps with this is focusing on that second throw and visualizing this upper corner in the air where you want to throw it. So really put all your attention to the second ball. Even if you just let the first ball drop and just pay attention that the second ball has the right flight pattern. That's better than anything. Dare to drop here. If you want, you can also just focus on the right throws and let your balls drop. And if they fall more or less in front of your feet, then you hit the right spots in the air. So stay with me. This one takes a little moment to get used to. Left, right, catch, catch, right, left, catch, catch. And you want to be able to do it in both directions. Starting once with the right side and then also starting with your left side. Right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. This one pre-exercise is really the nut we have to crack. That's the most important pre-exercise for your 3-ball cascade. You want to be able to do this in a more or less relaxed way, that your balls don't go too far out of your range and keeping them inside. Looks easy when I do it. It's more complicated when you try it for yourself. So have a little patience with you. If you get a little bit impatient, one cool trick to practice this is stand in front of your bed if you have a low bed like this, just yay high, your balls are gonna fall onto the bed, so you don't have to always pick them up so deep. Yeah, so that's a good idea. Once you master this, we can look at how we're gonna throw our first throws of the 3-ball cascade. Now, let's look at how we hold 2 balls in one hand. So what I'm doing here is I have the first ball in my palm, and I hold it with these 2 fingers here. I kind of squeeze it, and then the other one I hold it with the 3 fingers here. So they're above each other. This one is going to be the first one that I'm going to throw in the air. This is the ball that I release first. And you want to just give it a try and just throw this one ball forth and back with holding 2 other balls in your palms, because it's a little bit tricky to just catch back with the 3 fingers here as such. Cool. And now let's look at how we throw our first throws of the 3-ball cascade. So the first 2 throws of 3-ball cascade are exactly how we've been practicing it in the exercise. It's exactly 1, 2, catch, catch, with the balls crossing. And now I still have this 3rd ball, right? So the 3rd ball goes underneath that 2nd one. So it's this exercise to the other side. This is why we have to really be able to do it in both directions. So we're gonna do 1, 2, and then a 3rd one, and you're gonna catch it back. Only focus on 3 throws, and we wanna get them nice and clean, have a good form for this. If you get the first 3, then it's gonna be easier to build up and eventually be able to continue and juggle constantly. All right, so one more time. So ball number 1 is the one that I hold here in my, between these 3 fingers, this guy up here. 2nd one comes out of the other hand. And last one is the one that I have in my palm. They always go cross, and I always visualize these upper corners, and I always want these balls to go into my upper corners up here. So it's gonna be right, left, right, and stop. Okay, for me, I'm a right-handed person. Right hand is my dominant hand. You can also start in your left. It's gonna be, of course, left, right, left. For those of you who are always starting with the right hand, it's gonna be right, left, right, and stop. And I end up with 2 balls in my left hand here. One more time. Right, left, right, and stop. All right. And these are our first throws of the 3-ball cascade. No worries, stick with it. As I said, with the juggling, it needs to, first you have to think about it, and then it needs to get into your muscle memory. Takes a little moment, sleep over it for a night, do every day, little 5 minutes of juggling, and you're gonna get it by the end of the week for sure. Here's the 3-ball cascade one more time in slow motion for you to see. I hope you have fun with it. Yay, go juggling! Woo!